My dear friends, hello and welcome back to another fun-filled, adventurous hour, the Bill Crane Report with my friend Duane Weiss. We're here to inform you, amuse you, entertain you,
Irritate you.
drive you nuts.
Yep.
Because that's where I'm going, nuts. I'll tell you, I had a bunch of stuff prepared for today, and then things just kept on happening. So I have some new stuff to talk about, but I've got to tell you about a quote this morning from Senator Ben Sasse, S-A-S-S-E, Republican, Nebraska. He was talking about the two candidates for president, and he said, "There are dumpster fires in my town more popular than these two leaders." Thought that was great. Kind of puts it in proper perspective, you know?
Does.
Now,
It's hard to believe that's the two we're coming down with.
I'm going to not rave here just a little bit. What do you think of this? I was listening to the radio the last couple of days, and there is a realtor who advertises on WBZ, La Macchia Realty. Well, you know what he says?
You know what?
When you list with us, everyone will know your house is for sale. Everyone. Do you think that that's maybe just a step too far? Do you think that's truth in advertising?
No, that's puffery.
How hyperbole, you
In
say?
puffery, they call it in advertising.
Everyone will know your house is for sale. How can he possibly guarantee that? You know what that's like? It's like the bozo, Adam.
I wouldn't have known they're for sale with him. I never heard of him before.
No, Adam Crum, that's on Fox Financial and Fox News all the time, advertising those $50 or silver dollars.
Yeah.
It's a rare coin outfit. Mm-hmm. These are from the 1800s. When you hold them in your hand, history comes alive.
Yeah, I know.
I called the 800 number and asked, how does this manifest itself?
Yep.
Do you know what the lady told me?
What?
Nothing. She hung up on me.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to take it. They don't hear that.
Ah, boy.
There's one real estate out there that's got a great little slogan. We treat every house as a real estate. That was cute.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And you know, so much of real estate is selling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not taking orders, it's selling, and it's hard work. Mm-hmm. And the successful realtors are the ones that work the hardest.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that we've done business with through the years, and she's marvelous because she works hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway.
It's the top few out of each agency that
Yeah.
do all the business.
Sure.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Socialism fails when you run out of other people's money. That was a quote from Margaret Thatcher.
It's very appropriate.
Exhibit A on the socialism failing, Venezuela.
Oh,
The people now hunt and eat dogs and pigeons. Apparently, Cesar Chavez's house of cards has collapsed along with the price of oil.
Yep.
I mean, they lived by high price on oil. That's all they got going for themselves down there, and it's a miserable mess. And now
they're just tearing themselves apart.
yeah, terrible, terrible, terrible.
And that's a country that sat on vast petroleum reserves.
And they're still sitting on it.
They're still sitting on
But
it.
they can't seem to do anything about developing it, you know?
It's so corrupt.
Yep. Now, I have a quote that I hope I can find. Yes. occasionally you find in the letters to the editors.
Oh, you find some gems once in a while.
Yes, you do. This fellow is Paul Quaglia from Billerica. And this appeared in the Herald the other day. Talking about leading into this, he said, politicians believe that citizens are fools, and some are. Drop down to the last paragraph. Politicians will also tell you that if someone donates or helps rake in big campaign contributions, it will not affect their decisions. Yet, that is simply against human nature.
Absolutely.
Who
What
in
fool would give a vast amount of money to a candidate and not expect anything back?
Hey, who writes a check
Yeah.
to the campaign for governor for $500
Yeah.
and then needs to talk to the governor and can't get an appointment?
No.
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 It's ridiculous to even suggest that if you donate to a campaign,
Yep.
it's the same as not donating.
You know, a classic case of that was the previous mayor of Boston, Mr. Menino.
Thomas
He
Menino.
had his favorite charities, and if you gave a lot of money to that charity, you had an inside route. Target would, Walmart wouldn't for a long time. He did his best to keep Walmart out of Massachusetts, out of Boston for sure.
Sure did.
Because they wouldn't play ball with this.
That's right.
I wanted so much money from you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. They would not pony up the money, so
Yep.
you're out. According to an unnamed White House insider,
Those are always better.
the world has disappointed President Obama.
I think that's the other way around.
Or maybe
I
it
think
goes.
Obama has disappointed the world.
Yeah, but can you imagine a guy having an ego the size of the whole world and saying, I'm disappointed in the world?
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't kowtow to me.
Well, today, he's extorting all the schools about the gender rights in the bathroom stuff.
Yeah,
If
right.
you don't do it exactly as I want, you may face lawsuits and loss of federal aid.
Yeah.
It's plain old extortion.
Of course it is. Of course it is. This is his legacy.
Yep.
Do you recall? I'm going to digress for a moment.
We never do that.
No. You've dragging me off the path.
I know it.
I get a kick out of the folks who say, you can't touch abortion. It is decided law. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to the Warren court.
Yep.
They did not ever say abortion should be legal.
No.
They upheld the right to privacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Okay? To say that it is decided case law because they've upheld the right to privacy is extremely misleading. Now, if not intellectually dishonest. Mm-hmm. Now, the same situation applies with the transgender bathrooms.
Yep.
Now, as my wife, who is much wiser than I, pointed out to me, I have a right to privacy when I go in a woman's room.
That's right.
I don't want some big honking dude coming in. I don't want some pervert coming in who is above the law.
Yep. Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
have a right to privacy.
Yep.
How about teenage girls
Yeah, oh yeah.
in the shower room in high school?
Yep.
I guess that's all waived too.
Yeah, it is, because if a guy decides that he's more female than male, Under law, he's
Yep.
just going to be able to walk right in there.
That's walk right in there and shower up with the girls.
You can't tell me that boys being boys, a couple of them aren't going to try it just for kicks.
a couple.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
know.
would have probably been tempted when I was 16.
I know 8 to 10 of them, for heaven's sakes, that would have done it in high school. My high school class alone. But this is his legacy, and this is how he's doing it, is with these proclamations.
That's
Yeah.
what he says here.
I'll tell you
It
what.
just says here that the move that he's doing here is bound to certain to draw fresh criticism, particularly from Republicans. Is the federal government? That the federal government is wading into local matters and imposing its own values on communities.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it's doing.
Absolutely. It's his values.
Yeah, his values.
Yeah, I don't think he gives a rat's wazoo about anyone else's values
No, not at all.
other than him and Michelle. And Valerie Jarrett.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Another Obama quote, and now I've got this one, I watched this one on television. People who have been successful don't realize they've been lucky. Hello? We are all lucky. Every night when I reflect on the day and say my prayers, I always thank God for my health, my intelligence, but more importantly, my wife, my family, my friends, this great country, my good fortune in business, but most importantly, my faith. And when you think about how many billions of people have existed since the year one,
Yeah.
why am I lucky to be, and that's what it is.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, how can you possibly say you're not the luckiest guy? That's why I start off with it. I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah, we all both are.
Yeah, we are.
Just be born here.
Yes, yeah. And in a free country, just that alone is...
Absolutely. I've thought of that myself. You know.
It's one of the great imponderables. I'm going to ask him about that when he punches my ticket.
Okay.
What how come, you know? How come me at that point in time, you know?
You didn't make any donations like we were talking about making political
Never
donations.
did
you?
mail him a check. Maybe I better. I wonder what the zip code is up
I
there.
don't know. I think it's just 0000.
Now, way back when, Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham
Yep.
signed the GOP loyalty agreement. Remember they did that to suck Donald Trump into signing that too, so he wouldn't
go on a third party.
go third party. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, these two are walking backwards as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, they're talking
Yep.
third party.
So let's call Jeb Bush and Lindsey Graham out for exactly what they are. Two reprehensible, sniveling, gutless worms. You heard it here first, folks.
That's right.
Would you add any adjectives to that?
I think that was pretty well done.
Adriana Cohen is a featured columnist in the Herald, and I must tell you, the folks, the truth in advertising here. I don't usually read her. However, she, along with a lot of other women columnists who have come out and supported Trump, or have supported him all along, have been called out by that bastion of truth, the New York Post. And these are just, sorry, the Washington Post.
Okay.
Had a brain interruption there. So here is some of the things that a columnist by the name of Callum Borchers wrote about Adriana Cohen and the other females.
Okay.
Triplet Barbies, all plastic, big bazooms, and a hollow head. Strumpets, blonde, giggly, silly nonsense. World's oldest profession.
Didn't hold back.
No, bimbos.
Yeah.
It's a shame watching young, beautiful women have no principles whatsoever. Freaks. Did Trump promise them all free plastic surgery? Paid shriekers.
Now, who wrote this column?
Callum Borchers in the Washington Post.
Post.
Maybe they were drawn to his impassioned stance on hairspray. Here's some other headlines that were posted on its website around the Borchers piece. Playboy to president. Trump's crude sex talk collides with White House bid. Playboy Trump and the double standard. Donald Trump's delegate ineptitude stumbles into white nationalism. If I ever hear another word about the biased right-wing columnists,
It is pathetic right now.
unbelievable that a newspaper would print
Yeah,
crap like that.
absolutely. If it
Unbelievable.
was the other way around, there'd be torches
Yeah.
and riots in the streets.
Where is the Attorney General when stuff like this is going on? But again,
Do not.
we
do
have the
not,
First Amendment.
Do not depend on the U.S. Attorney General or our Massachusetts Attorney General.
Yeah.
For anything.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely
They're just
right.
figureheads, both of them.
And the Obama administration wants to do away with free speech.
Oh yeah.
They want to muzzle their right-wing opponents. Mark Zuckerberg, is he manipulating news coverage?
Of course he is.
1/4 of the people in the world look at Facebook. That's unbelievable.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah, but he has got algorithms that when certain words are in a story, they drop it down in importance. Now, this morning, he's denying all of this, and he's pointing out someone in his organization that's going to speak to this.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's scary.
It is. Our president is going hat in hand to Hiroshima.
Yes.
I have no problem with that.
I don't either.
He's not going to apologize,
I don't know.
but he's going to reflect on all the deaths from both countries in World War II, I guess, and pay respects. And someone on one of the newscasts was I think it was John McCain's daughter,
Okay.
who said, is he going to stop at Pearl Harbor first and go to the memorial there and reflect on the 2,500 people that died that morning?
No.
The answer from the White House? No.
That doesn't make news.
No. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Seth Moulton, by the way.
He's been in the news lately.
Yes, he has. I can fish this out here. Seth Moulton. Moulton blames Obama for Iraqis' comrades' death. One of the most tragic parts of Lieutenant Colonel Ehab's death. And Lieutenant Colonel Ehab was a friend and colleague of Moulton's, is that it came fighting some of the same battles that we fought 8 to 10 years ago, because we left Iraq without a strategy to ensure peace. The tragedy is that today we're sending troops back into Iran under the same president who promised to pull them out.
Well, the problem with that, and he rightly identifies it, is that militarily, if you go in, you have to have an exit plan that's just as strong or stronger than the entrance plan.
Yeah.
We go in with no clue of how we're going to get out of there.
No, and I'll tell you what, that pattern, and I've got to tell you that the invasion of Iraq by George W. Bush looks worse each time I look at it. But even if we thought for sure there was weapons of mass destruction there, we went in there with absolutely no plan on what we were going to do when the shooting stopped.
No, we didn't. We
No.
had no idea.
It never dawned on any nitwit working in that whole presidency, never dawned on him that when we stop shooting, who are the police going to be?
Yeah, who's going to take over here?
Yeah. What about the fire departments and the police departments that we put out of business when we destroyed some of these towns and just destroyed the whole infrastructure? Yeah. No one said, gee, we have to think a few jumps ahead here. Unbelievable. And here it is. We are repeating the exact same mistakes we made before.
We do it over and over and over.
Now, you get a president that is out of the mainstream, as far as I'm concerned, on foreign policy. He's just totally inept. He lives in a dream world.
That's the summary right there.
Yeah, but you know what the big problem? Well, of course, look, you get career generals, flag officers in the Pentagon. Do you think they're going to stand up on their back too and say, Mr. President, you have got to be way off the reservation on this one. You can't do this.
No.
And then their president's going to say, okay, Mr. Four-Star General, you're retiring as a 1-star effective tomorrow.
Exactly.
Clean out your desk.
They're not fools.
No. So what happens is the good ones say, now I get 3 stars, and if I open up my mouth, screw this, I'm retiring, I'm getting out.
Yeah.
So what happens is, guess who gets promoted up the ladder? You're going to play ball with us, General Weiss?
Of course.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, well.
Well, I'm going to put that 3rd star right on you. Step
Right
over
there.
here.
Put it right there.
That's it.
Yep.
And,
Oh, yeah,
then, and then he gets his own yes men in there. I hope you folks are not appalled by my showing this dirty laundry before you here tonight. But this is what the real world is like.
It's not what we hope it is.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. You know, it is so stupid because, well, it's not stupid, but let me give you an example that is way off the reservation. Now, I was drafted in the Army, spent 2 years in there, U.S. Army over in Germany. Very small post. And draftees, 2-year guys, never made Spec 4, E4. Never. Okay? You just didn't do it. Because they wanted to pin that on the RAs, the guys that volunteered for 3 years, and that may be considering staying in.
Yep.
So you promote them, you give them the extra money, and it's like watering a plant.
Yep.
Okay? So, guess what? I think in the 17th month of my tour of duty, I was made a Spec 4. Now, we didn't really have a functioning EM club. So I had a chance, I would either have a few beers at the German canteen or at the NCO club.
Yep.
And I'd go over to the NCO club and play cribbage with Sergeant Melzo, Sergeant Bird, the first sergeant too, Wolper. Drink beer with them and play cribbage with them. So when it came time, when the stripe came down, yeah, I got it.
Sure.
Because they were my friends.
Yep.
That's what it's like in the real world, folks.
Oh, sure.
You know, you promote your friends, you promote the good guys, or your perception of who is a good guy.
Yep.
And the others get left by the wayside. Anywho.
That's an art in Massachusetts.
Whew, is it ever?
Patriotism.
Is it ever? I want to get to this one. I've had this one for a couple or 3 episodes and never got to it. Fire department to file suit versus maker of faulty engines. Okay, here's what has happened.
That's a Herald.
Herald,
Right?
yeah. International Harvester, or Navistar Corporation, had defective diesel engines. And they never really stepped up to the plate and said, you know, we need to recall these, or this is not a great engine. Fire trucks that's tough service.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
However, Navistar is the low-hanging fruit. It is the least expensive of the truck manufacturers. Yep. So guess what happens when the state or the city of Boston has to buy new fire trucks? Low bidder.
Sure.
And unless you can prove that, you know, these trucks are not suitable. So anyway, they've got 14 pieces of equipment with the Navistar engines in them that are mothballed right now, and they're working on them or trying to figure out what to do with them or what. And this is buying the low bid. I have here a quotation by John Ruskin, a 19th century English author, art critic, and social reformer. And I'll also tell you right up front, too, he died in an insane asylum. He went wacky. But nonetheless, he discusses the low bid. I have never read anything any smarter than what I'm about to read.
Okay.
The low bid. It is unwise to pay too much, but it is worse to pay too little. When you pay too much, all you lose is a little money. That is all. When you pay too little, you sometimes lose everything because the thing you bought was incapable of doing the thing it was bought to do. The common law of business balance prohibits paying a little and getting a lot. It can't be done. If you deal with the lowest bidder, it is well to add something for the risk you run. And if you do that, you will have enough to pay for something better.
Yep.
I have used this time and time again.
Yep.
In some of my seminars that I held for customers when I was pitching my actuator, which was one of the more expensive ones on the market. And I'll tell you, I would pass this out.
There was a quote on one of the first astronauts to fly on the Saturn V. The Saturn V was that big giant rocket that they took to the moon. And he says, you want to feel real terror? Sit on top of a machine that's got 1 million moving parts with 5 million pounds of thrust, all provided by the lowest bidder.
I have heard the same thing from from airplane pilots. Yeah. So while you're sitting there in first class enjoying a beer, think about all the fasteners that are holding this plane together that were bought by the lowest bidder.
Yep.
I've never read anything any truer than that. And then poor John went insane and they put him away. Okay, we talked about Zuckerberg. I have here Hillary Clinton. A little something about Hillary. She misspoke.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Must have been somebody put words in her mouth or something.
Well, she said that we're going to put the coal companies out of business.
That's right.
Yep. Dirty, rotten, stinking coal. We have...
Well, she got to West Virginia, she wasn't saying that.
Yeah. We have the largest percentage of the world's coal in the United States. It's burned all over the world.
Of course it is.
We're not going to shovel it out of the ground, though, and sell it. That would be dirty. Well, so she said, we're going to put the coal workers out of business. Well, all of a sudden, we look and here's Donald Trump showing all kinds of strength in coal country. So, here's Hillary's quote. For me, learning more about the lives of people here and about what you want for your futures is crucial to what kind of president I want to be, Clinton said at a rally in Athens, Ohio, an Appalachian town that once was a stronghold for her husband, Bill Clinton, but now skews Republican. Clinton was in damage control mode in the coal mining region, eager to make up for her comments in March that her presidency would put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business. She said, get ready now. To put it plainly, I misspoke.
Yeah.
That's one reason why I took this trip, to make sure you know where I stand. So I ask you, as a well-informed citizen and voter, where does she stand?
Whichever the way the wind is blowing.
Folks, as sad as it may seem, and much as you may think that Duane has dodged the issue, he's hit it right on the head.
Whatever she thinks you want to hear.
So, let me ask you something, Duane.
What's that?
I know that you have a television set in your house.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you watch the news
Yes.
and all that.
Guilty?
We've never seen this mea culpa
No.
of Hillary's on national TV.
No, you won't.
Oh, no. I'm not going to see it.
Nope.
Oh, man. Oh, jeepers creepers.
No, that just like, was it day before yesterday? Fox versus CNN. It was a press release, and it was about releasing information that's sensitive. When they put it on the air, they retracted 8 minutes of it, cut it right out.
Whoa.
Because
that was just too hot for the population to handle?
well, yeah, well, the administration didn't want it
Yeah.
out there, so they cut that 8 minutes right out, so it sounded like something else.
Well, I tell you what, this
And
is...
only Fox would report the 8 minutes missing,
Yeah.
because they had the original when they taped it at the original conference.
Yeah.
And then they showed what CNN and MSNBC showed. They were totally different.
You know, this is really is they're censoring the news,
Of course they are.
and this is really sad.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not trying to crucify her. I mean, she can do that all by herself.
She's very capable.
Just
of doing
open
it
her
herself.
mouth
Yep.
and she can do it. But when she says things like this is news. Big news.
Be very careful of these people that support no coal. It's not just coal. It's coal today, fuel oil or fuel tomorrow, natural gas after that, any fossil fuel. They don't want you to burn any fossil
How
fuel.
about, and we've got them right here in
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts, the lunatics.
Oh,
No pipelines in my town and all of that.
absolutely.
They go to bed at night, and they, rather than pray the way I do, they pray, let there be a natural gas pipeline explosion.
Sure. So they stop.
And then every moron in the world writes letters to the editor. They're all primed. They've got scripts on how to write these letters to the editor. And you look in the paper and you find, gee, are the folks from West Roxbury or from Mattapan or from Braintree the ones that are writing these articles? No, they come from Akron, Ohio. They come from Lansing, Michigan. They come from Denver, Colorado.
And none of them think where you're going to. You enjoy the fruits of all these technologies. Where are you going to get the power to power them if you take these energy sources
Well,
away?
you know, I think one of the real big problems is the fact that they are furious that natural gas is now 67% from fracking.
Oh, they advertise that on
Yeah.
the anti. It's fracked natural gas.
Yeah.
What?
Fracking's gone on for 100 years.
What is the difference where it came from?
Well, they want to tell the story that fracking is bad. Well, try to tell the people in North Dakota and South Dakota
Yeah.
that has had their entire standard of living raised, their economy raised. I mean, they're eating white bread now out there, for heaven's sakes. This has been a boon. West Texas has been reborn because of fracking. You get Pennsylvania.
Where I came from, indirectly with fracking.
Sure.
They had farmers that sat on these 300-400 acres of white sand. Couldn't you, without loading a lot of fertilizers, you couldn't get a decent crop out of it if you tried. All of a sudden, they found out this sand was injected with high pressure water, injected down at tubes, was the perfect thing for fracking.
Absolutely.
They're multimillionaires
Yeah,
now off that
yeah.
worthless farm of sand that they had.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So there's all kinds of things. They're lowering, but here's the thing, okay? My green friends are very hypocritical people. Here's the deal. They are angry that there is copious amounts of natural gas available in this country at a low price.
Right, yep.
That's not fair. It makes us look, we're pushing solar, we're pushing wind power. And I've got some numbers at home that indicate that the natural gas right now is like 6 or 8 times cheaper than wind power.
Sure.
Or sun power. So they are really mad that their cutesy poo power sourcing has been shoved off the table because of economics.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean natural gas is that? By the way, I hold stock in Southern Company. I own stock in Southern Company. I did a lot of work for the Foxborough Company on some projects for Georgia Power, which is a Southern Company. And I understand their business, and they pay a very generous dividend. I got their annual report. Their price for generating power from the nuclear power plants is far below the cost of natural gas. they're just completing work on 2 new nuclear power plants. I don't understand. People live close to nuclear power plants. I like to drive through the neighborhoods and see if the kids have 2 heads,
Oh, yeah,
or whether
yeah.
they glow in the dark, or the dogs have 5 tails. It doesn't appear to be happening.
Yeah. Even a catastrophic accident. Now, the tsunami in Japan, that was tragic. It was catastrophic, but that could have been prevented. The Ukraine, the Chernobyl,
Yeah.
that was simply old design. That was
Yep.
unsafe design that they
Yep.
were running. But yet it didn't end the world.
And 3 Mile Island
3 Mile
could
Island
have
was
been a
another.
catastrophe, but all the safety mechanisms worked.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're there for. That's why they have redundant valves and redundant controls to contain it. And as one wag used to say, more people died in Teddy Kennedy's car than have died in
That's right.
nuclear power plant accidents.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, we don't want them. I'd live beside a nuclear power plant. It wouldn't bother me. They wanted to put one right across the street on the vacant strip of land over there that we can't seem to figure out how to handle. They want to put a nuclear power plant on that, that'd be fine.
Yeah,
Wouldn't bother me.
No. Well, look how many people. What happened at Plymouth town? I think town of Plymouth.
Yeah.
It was just a sleepy little town with a lot of historical. They put the plant in. The plant paid big bucks in taxes. Their tax rate went down. The crown grew by leaps and bounds.
It's going to be interesting.
Beautiful place to move to.
They shut down the Pilgrim Power
That's
plant
going to be.
and they go out of business. They decommission it because they're going to say,
Yep.
we're not going to pay taxes.
There was an article in the paper comparing that to Vermont Yankee or one of the other ones.
Yep.
What happened when they were decommissioned? It's not just the 600 employees that worked there. It's all the ancillary services, right down to the auto dealership,
community,
the grocery stores, everything.
And the amount of money that goes to the tax base,
That's right.
to the
all
town,
gone.
all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can't talk to those people.
No.
Where is my little piece here about Yahoo's CEO, Marissa Mayer,
Yep.
was hired to solve Yahoo's problems. Yahoo can't seem to identify what they want to be when they grow up. Apparently, Ms. Maya is, she's had 4 years to turn Yahoo around, and things are just getting worse. So it looks as though she's going to get a pat on the back or a slap on the back and say, there's the door. If that were the whole story, folks, that would be justice.
But
If you're
I'm
hired
sure
to
it's
do a
not.
job and you can't do it,
Goodbye.
but so that Marissa doesn't feel bad, they're going to give her $55 million.
See, when I see that, I remember one time years ago, we went to Disney, and my son was just, I think he was about 5 or 6. And he looked at me and says, Dad, you ought to buy stock in this company. And they weren't doing crap then. They weren't. I said, no, I don't think so. So they bring in this guy. It wasn't Eisner. It was, I forget who it was. He was going to turn him around.
Yeah.
And he did worse than the other guy did. I
Yep.
thought, and in those days, they paid him $3 or $4 million. This was 40 years ago. I thought, I could have came in here and did that and lost just as much money as he did. I would have taken for $2 million instead of $4 million.
Unbelievable. I mean, we're rewarding
Oh yeah,
failure.
We always do that.
It's so stupid. Well, we have the bathroom free-for-all going on between the Senate, the House, the governor. common sense and a woman's right to privacy. But Senator Ross, Richard Ross, stood up and made a strong stand.
Yep.
He said, I don't know how I'm going to vote.
Doesn't know yet.
No.
Well, Senator, I hope you decide soon.
Oh, he
because
did. He decided. He voted for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know his middle name is V?
No.
Richard V for vacillating.
Oh, vacillating.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to a strong stand on issues, sometimes Senator Ross has to weigh a bunch of factors before.
Go along to get along.
Yep. Tito Jackson, a Boston city councilor, and Michelle Wu.
The new.
Woo.
The new. Isn't she the head of the council now?
She is.
Yep.
There are a couple of interesting folks.
Well, that whole organization is probably the most bizarre, worthless organization of any city in the United States.
It really and truly is. And it's nothing but a springboard
Oh yeah.
for another step up in politics, you know. But the Herald has interviewed Michelle Wu and Tito Jackson. And they asked them both the same question. Her first off, him last off. And to read you the answers. Will you campaign for recreational marijuana? Now, this is Jackson. Yes, I will. And the reason why I'm going to campaign for it is because disproportionately it's folks in the inner city
I knew where he
who
was going.
get arrested for this as well as a sentence for this. That's a waste of taxpayer dollars. So, lawbreakers, that's a waste of your money putting them away.
That's right.
Now, Michelle Wu, where do you stand on the issue of legitimizing recreational marijuana? If it's on the ballot, I plan to vote for legalization. I think the enforcement of the laws have led to really unfortunate inequities. If you look at proportion, and there should be the proportion, of black and brown young men who are incarcerated because of unequal enforcement of our drug laws. As a country, this is something that I think we have to confront urgently. Now, I ask you this, let's clarify this. If the pot criminals, the ones up here that are distributing it, down to the wholesalers, down to the next level of wholesalers, down to the street people, were all named O'Malley or Kelly or Sullivan, and those were the ones being put away.
You'd have a whole different tone.
Would I have a whole different tone?
Absolutely.
I see. So these people are just playing to...
It's called pandering.
Pandering?
Yeah.
Dear me. So I thought, now I could have sworn that I have seen Lady Justice. And she has a blindfold on.
She's got a little hole cut in one side. You can see her eye sticking out now.
But she's supposed to be colorblind. That's the idea behind it.
I don't think so.
Another one of my childhood myths is crushed.
No, they're getting crushed every day.
Man alive. So, if you are one type of person, you should be exempt from the laws and from punishment. But if you belong to another category,
we've swung that way.
We'll have to drop the hammer on you.
Yep.
They should abolish the city council.
Oh,
and they should put both of these people in jail.
Well, they already had
Here's,
one go to jail. There should have been more than that.
here's another interesting little note. And it's too bad that I didn't cut out the picture that appeared in a different, on a different date. But the Prouty Garden,
Oh, with the children's hospital.
yeah, in the Boston Children's Hospital, it's a healing garden. And it sits beside Boston Children's Hospital. Boston Children's Hospital wants to put up a $1 billion expansion.
Expansion, yep.
Now, truth in advertising, folks, one of my sons was born with severe heart defects. And I will tell you right now, the people in the City Hospital, Boston Children's Hospital are miracle workers. And Patrick is alive and healthy today.
Yep.
Because of those people, and then later on as an adult, the people at Mass General. But they collaborated with the people at Children's. They are fantastic people in there, and I'll bet you there's folks watching our program that are nodding their heads saying, yeah.
Sure.
They want to put in an expansion. They also say they're going to $200 million in renovations to an existing building. Now we have a plot of grass and
A few trees and some flowers.
some shrubs and a couple of benches. Yep. And the people that have been stressed out with their children being treated there walk out into the garden and they find peace and tranquility and healing. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, there's other ways to find it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to build $1 billion expansion.
Yeah. Try explaining to a parent that we don't have room for your child, your dying child.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't touch this little plot of land over here.
Yeah.
And see how soothing it is to them.
Yeah. I mean, now, I'm going to tell you who I blame for all of this. Mayor Menino would never have allowed this to get as far as it has.
Yeah.
Marty Walsh is just whistling in the dark. Why he's not open, maybe he is behind the scenes, we don't know. But Mr. Mayor, get your butt over there, get involved in this, and straighten this out and get this expansion built. That can be your legacy, that you did something for the city of Boston.
Yep. Instead of fighting another health clinic that wanted to be built because the union stepped in and said, no, you don't have enough union labor involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, Phyllis Siegel has written a guest column in the Herald. This brings new meaning to the word addle-minded. I'm nostalgic for 2007 when then candidates Barack Obama and John McCain agreed on the vital importance of national service and endorsed legislation to expand it. In his first inaugural, President Obama set national service as a top priority. Then he signed into law the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act. Well, things haven't taken off.
Not exactly.
Nope.
I haven't seen anything come out of that.
Here she bears her soul here. Now, guess who she's going to blame? I'm chagrined because this bipartisan promise has been abandoned by a bitterly partisan Congress. Consistent with earlier cuts in congressional dithering, By 2014, only about a third of the 250,000 volunteer positions funded by the Act actually existed. The vision for national service may have withered, but the need for service has never been more acute. And then she goes on and on and on. Now, let me tell you something. The dithering Congress, this bipartisan wrangling, partisan wrangling, I should say, is the fault. How about, have you heard one word about this?
Never.
No. Where is the leadership by President Obama?
Yeah, exactly, because it would come down to the people. The population of this country wants something like national service. We're not the,
They
countries do it.
assistant teachers to work in rooms, clean up highways, all of that. But instead, Obama is much more concerned about
a lot of
which
countries that do it.
bathroom we're going to take
Israel
a whiz
does it.
in.
Switzerland does it.
Yeah, everybody does it.
He'll have to put in so many years of some kind of service.
But instead, we get bound up with the nonsense that comes out of this administration. You got something that was doable, that would be good, and he ignores it.
Yep, exactly.
Big deal. Oh, folks, I've only got 1 page out of 4 done so far.
Well, that's not typical.
Boy, oh boy. Well, we've gotten the signal, friends, that sad as it may seem, we're going to have to call a halt to this chapter. But we're going to make you a promise that we're going to be back bigger and badder than ever.
Yep.
In a couple of weeks. We thank you for tuning in. Tell your friends, tell your family that this is a great show and that everyone can benefit from it.
And let us know what you want us to talk about.
Sure. Give us a holler. And with that, good night.
Happy spring.